SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast discusses topics which are relevant to the everyday lives of seniors and their caregivers. We are joined by experts who share their knowledge on a variety of issues. SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast offers solutions and resources to create the best quality of life as we age. And now, let's welcome your host, Darlene Mahoney.
Does the idea of searching for senior housing solutions seem overwhelming and you're not even sure where to begin? SeniorLivingGuide.com makes senior housing search, home care, home health, as well as many resources available to you right at your fingertips in one easy-to-navigate website. So visit us today at SeniorLivingGuide.com. And I would like to express our gratitude to the SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast sponsors, Terabella Senior Living, where seniors unlock a richer, more rewarding lifestyle for assisted living and memory care in a warm, welcoming environment. And Live Dry adult incontinence products designed for moderate to severe incontinence issues. Live Dry provides reliable all-day and all-night protection. Quick absorbing, high capacity, and odor control helps you feel more confident when you wear Live Dry. And today I am super excited to welcome Ande Lyons. So Ande, at 69 years old, is a four-time, we usually don't discuss age, right? But we're going to talk about age today. That's all we're going to talk about today, actually. So we're going to talk to Ande. She's 69. She is a 4 times founder, a formal global startup mentor, serial podcaster since 2012, before podcasting was super cool, and the founder of the New England Podcasters Group, a monthly in-person event for podcasters, and host of the popular interview style Pro Aging podcast. I love the name of your podcast. It's called Don't Be Caged by Your Age, where Ande showcases folks, they have to be over 65, shattering age-related expectations while helping folks find pathways to fuel their passion, purpose, and pocketbooks so you can continue to thrive after 65.
Woohoo!
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today. I've been wanting to talk about ageism because I think it's something that is super important, and I think we need to address it, talk about it, and overcome it.
Absolutely, and dismantle it.
Dismantle it, yes.
First of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast, Darlene. It's so great to be here.
Absolutely.
And it's such an honor to be able to chat about such an important topic, because not only do we get slapped in the face, literally, practically, by society with all this, hey, you're not young anymore, so like we can't handle this. And you end up feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, but I'm aging. To where you're working and you're thriving in a corporation and they're like, yeah, you're no longer motivated, ambitious, you need to go. And you're like, wait a minute, was there an expiration date for my ambition? But then we have decades of indoctrination that we have internalized, that very judgy, very biased. And so instead of looking in the mirror at your age as you get past 65 and going, oh, thank God for another day. Thank you. This is so great to be here. You're like, what is with those brown spots, those wrinkles, those barnacles? No one's going to take me seriously. I am so old. Why bother? These messages are floating around everywhere. You can't get away from them. So it was really important for me to just start the conversation. Let's age out loud and proud. Let's not shrink with age. Let's continue to take center stage. Let's be visible, connected, and engaged.
Yeah, absolutely. And media does that for sure. So especially women, I know it's for men as well, but women more specifically, because it's harder for us to age, and men can age all day long. I mean, I remember Sean Connery was back in the day, way back in the day, was voted sexiest man alive. And that's when he did Hunt for Red October, which is, I'm going to say like early
60.
90s. Yeah. So he was, completely gray then, and he was a hot tamale.
And you see these men over 60 getting hot tamales to marry them.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And yet the woman gets discarded. The gendered ageism really is hard. And to be made to feel guilty that you no longer are valuable because you don't have a young nubile body and face, that's terrible.
Yeah. No, I absolutely agree. So, what do you recommend, especially for older folks that are still, trying to navigate the workforce? Because I think that that's where you kind of see like blatant ageism that can affect somebody's, we talked pocketbook. That can affect your pocketbook and it can affect your entire way of life.
Well, first of all, we have to adopt the fact from data that corporations with intergenerational employees are more profitable and sustainable than focusing on the youth level. And here's why. As you age, you've been through a lot of crap, okay? You've had to navigate downturns in the economy, weather conditions that can wipe out situations, all sorts of life events. You've learned how to onboard customers, manage all the tough situations, keep the group going. It's called institutional knowledge, especially in an industry that you may have been in for decades, but it doesn't matter. You can transition into a new industry and still bring in institutional knowledge because you know how things are done and run.
Yeah.
And you can be so innovative at any age. But, you're the 20-year-old, the 30-year-old, the 40-year-old has not had to go through the circumstances and conditions that you have at the age of 60 or 65 or even 55. And that's why it's so important that we have all generations on the team.
Yeah.
Because you get jazzed by that. Well, what about this idea? And what about that idea? And you're like, yes, and we, what we can do when we implement that is we can set up the structure so this won't happen, and we can, prevent this from happening because I've seen that happen before. We don't want that to happen. You see the wisdom that can be brought in. So if you really are starting to feel the ageism from folks around you, managers who have been biased from whatever they've seen, from either Hollywood putting out movies showing someone 65 looking 85, to the messaging that, only youth can do this, which don't get me started, especially social media. You have to start selling. You have to start promoting. You have to start showing that you not only are super comfortable being the oldest person in the room, but you appreciate the other generations, that this is a collaborative experience, and you start waving the data. Now, that's not always going to work, Darlene, right? The company's still going to want to kick you out, in which case you have to start thinking about, well, how can I be a 1099 employee? Because they're still going to need you. And so maybe you reframe it. Okay, maybe you don't want me at this level or at this salary or whatever, but you might want to pare your own hours down. You might be wanting to work a 25, 30-hour week instead of that 60-hour hustle. You can start positioning yourself as a freelance employee, a consultant, somebody who comes in as part of the team, but gets paid as a 1099 employee. That works really well in this environment. So that would be my advice. The data is everywhere. We just can go online and find how intergenerational teams are more profitable and sustainable and start building it up. But it's unfortunate that it's there. But what happens, as I spoke earlier about the indoctrination of our own biases around ageism, we can all of a sudden start to shrink, pull back. Should I be here? What do I know? These young kids, they're on top of everything.
Yeah. It could be intimidating when you have younger folks that can zip through programs that especially AI, don't want to get me started on that, but that's something that is a definite learning curve for pretty much everyone, even the younger generations. But because they've been so connected for so long, they were born with cell phones in their hands, with their binkies.
Darlene, I got to push back on this.
Do it.
Tell you, I got to push back because I tell everyone in my age group, older too, We aren't. We are tech legends. Anybody over 50 is a tech legend, and here's why.
Okay.
We were born before email, before the internet, where we had to actually pick up a phone and communicate with people. We had to figure out how to use so much different technology, from manual typewriters to electric typewriters to computers. That all happened in the 80s, way before many of the people we're talking about were born. We had to transition from dial phones to push button to setting up those darn cassette tape answering machines to managing the VCR. We figured it out. So anytime someone's telling you, oh, tech today, it's too hard, are you kidding? It was much harder in the 80s. And then in the 90s, when we had to learn email, we had to learn how to use the internet. You know, all those folks are now in their 40s, all right? We are in our 60s. We had to transition that entire time. Plus, our generation built the foundation for this technology. One of my favorite stories, I did this post, about boomers being tech legends, not tech challenge, on Reddit.
Right.
And it went viral. It was the comments I really want to gather all the comments and put them into historical perspective. One of my favorite stories was a woman who was in her chemistry class at UC Berkeley. And the professor said, and those of you with handheld calculators, you can sit in the back. And she looked at her friend and said, what's a handheld calculator? We have transitioned to being able to do photos on our smartphones, everything. Mm-hmm. So as much as it looks like the younger generation is really quick and fast, this AI stuff, here's where they fall down with AI. Every time. They don't know what to ask. They really don't.
Oh,
so
the conversational side of it.
Yeah, so like a financial model on Perplexity. You've been calculating using Excel spreadsheets since before we had them. So you know what to look out for in formulas. So when AI is creating that document, legal documents, all sorts of other documents, you have a sharper eye. The younger generation is just going to take AI's word for it. And you're going to be, oh, no.
I've seen so many mistakes in AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes. I found that very interesting where I'm like, that's not right. Yeah. And I know that, and I'm not even AI.
So we can put our shoulders back and our chins up and go, another technology we have to adjust to. Big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many learning courses. I know that I've been taking courses for the gamut of AI products that are out there just to have a better understanding, because it is somewhat the wild, wild west that's out there. And there's so many, I think they call them courses where you can do 10 minutes a day so you don't feel like you're being overwhelmed. And I found that to be super helpful and fun and easy to digest.
Right. And as we say in our household, there's always a video for that.
There is always a video for that. Yes. Or a podcast for that matter. So, little plug there. But no, I absolutely agree with you. And you're right. And I always have made the joke that if the electric grids go down and all the things go down, then we're going to be the ones. We can do cursive. They don't understand. I can't read cursive. At least, my son writes everything. He doesn't utilize any cursive at all. So it's just strange to me that his driver's license is not cursive. And I just thought, oh, that's kind of weird. I thought you had to have cursive as a signature, but not anymore. So, yeah. And we'll be able to.
That's news to me.
Yeah.
But what's really funny fascinating is the folks who are like, I'm going to go analog for a while. I'm like, okay, good. Do you need any help with that?
Yeah.
Try standing in the grocery line or any line and not look at your phone.
I know. I did see something on TV the other day where they're starting to open restaurants that are phone-free zones. And so there's a place you have to place your phones in the basket in the middle of the table, and you are not allowed to pull it out. They offer, a lot of times their coffee and different things, and then they have board games and all kinds of different things that they offer if you'd like to do. But I thought that is magical.
Yes. And, pull out some of those fun cards for conversation starters to find out more about each other, but also get comfortable with being quiet in each other's company and just enjoying the environment and being in the present moment. Ooh, baby.
Yeah. It's like when you go to a concert and you realize that more people are FaceTiming and videoing, and they're not really enjoying the experience of the concert.
know.
Yeah.
And people, if they do anything and you see their 9 photos on Instagram, and you're like, okay. And I think my favorite was when Betty White was on SNL, and she talked about how it used to be if people brought you over to show you the pictures from vacation, you were like, oh no, please don't.
Yeah. Yeah. I can remember my dad, he'd do slideshows, the little, I don't even know what they are, the little cartridges.
That's right.
With the round thing, and it would go click,
right.
click.
The carousel for slides.
Carousel,
Yeah.
yes. And he would have my grandmother over and some different folks over, and we'd watch all of our Colorado pictures of, and he was a photographer, so he would take pictures of a flower,
Right.
a caterpillar, so it wasn't always this great adventure of our family, but a great adventure of his bird's eye view. Yeah.
Yeah, and with a manual camera. So you didn't know if you got that shot until you paid to have that film developed.
Nothing was edited then either. I know. So every wrinkle, every age spot, everything. Now I clearly was very young, but everything shows. There's no hiding it, which I think is fabulous, because I think now, because of the ageism, that you can't show or post a photo without using some kind of app.
Filter.
Yeah.
I have one on my phone.
Yeah.
And of course, my sons were younger, like, Mom, I look too.
Yeah.
With your filter.
Yeah.
And I actually do that because I get tired of seeing all my barnacles and my brown spots. I just let's just zhuzh that up a little. I'm not going to go get a facelift. I'm not going to get any surgery done. So this is what I call that my skincare treatment.
Yeah, no, I am right there with you. Trust me. I do a little bit of something, and I just admitted that. But yeah, absolutely. I think that everyone kind of does do that.
But on the platform you're using, Squadcast, or what I use, Riverside, they don't have what Zoom has, beauty face, and StreamYard has beauty face, right? Where they just do a nice little zhuzh on your face, and you're like, okay, that's good.
Yeah, this is it.
So we still, as women, we want to be the best we can be. But,
for sure.
I just interviewed a woman, Linda. Her platform is called Next with Linda. She's 83, and almost every day she is posting a video with her advice for all the ages on how to be, but also about how to grow older. This is something she had to learn how to get it. She gets help, of course, getting it posted on Instagram and TikTok. But there are plenty of other women who are that age and older who are slapping all their stuff on TikTok and Instagram just fine.
Yeah.
But what I love about Linda, there's no zhuzhing. She is like right out there with everything. And I just think it's so important. And I talk about this a lot, Darlene, about how the more visible we are, the more we dissolve the bias, dismantle ageism, and get people used to and comfortable with having older bodies around who have a lot to offer, who have, they're not just hanging, not that there's anything wrong with hanging out with the grandkids and hanging out in the garden, but they're involved and engaged, and they're the oldest person in the room. And I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 times, it's our own bias that is bothering us. For example, I ran a monthly pitch event here in Boston for 3 years for startup founders to pitch their value proposition to a live audience. And we had investors, et cetera. It was a great opportunity for them. Very youth-centered, the entrepreneurial world. Even though more entrepreneurs are coming in over the age of 50, in that crowd, everybody's pretty much under 40 years old. And I was in my early 60s at the time, about to hit my mid-60s, and I was often mistaken for someone in my early 50s. But I also saw, and I just say it's because my energy. I look my age, or whatever that means.
Exactly, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I would hear gendered ageism, and it would show up as explain your business as if you were telling your grandma. And I would, of course, want to jump up and go, wait a minute. I have shoes older than most of you here. I have a Bill Blass blazer who could be your grandmother. Cut it out with that. But when I turned 66, I felt like I was living a lie. So I held the Route 66 sign in front of me and took a photo and wrote a post on LinkedIn and said, I'm 66. Yeah, it's time to age out loud and proud. Ageism in tech is prevalent. Why? Ambition doesn't die at a certain age, all those things. But I have to tell you, in that room of startup founders, they loved me. I mean, I wasn't discounted ever. They loved my wisdom. They loved my stories. They laughed at my jokes. I felt like I was one of them. And so I really think a lot of times we're our own worst enemy.
If you or someone you care for is dealing with moderate to heavy incontinence, you've experienced products that leak, and that is never acceptable. Live Dry products combine high capacity with fast absorption and a secure fit to help eliminate leaks and improve comfort, even during extended wear. With Live Dry, it's protection you can trust.
Thousands of positive reviews on Amazon can't be wrong. Search LIVDRY on Amazon. Live Dry products are available at Amazon.com and Walmart.com.
At Terra Bella Senior Living, seniors unlock a richer, more rewarding lifestyle for assisted living and memory care, offering daily activities, home-style dining, and 24-hour care in a warm, welcoming environment. Tour today to see the comfort and care we offer at Terra Bella.
I absolutely agree with you. For me, and I've talked about this before, even as I age, I still feel like I'm in my 20s. So I might look different in the mirror, but on the inside, it's very much the same. And I can remember my mom telling me that as, I kind of look back and I may have discounted her from, doing girlfriend things with me because she was my mom, that type of thing. But she loved to be included in that. And she would say to me, Darlene, I might be older, I might look older and all the different things, but I'm still 20. I still want to do the girlfriend things. I still want to do all these things. And I really didn't relate to it as much as I do now. And now I totally get exactly where she was coming from. And just thinking to myself, I still want to go out there and do all the things in my 20s. And actually, I probably want to do more now at my age than I actually wanted to do in my 20s because I was raising the kids and doing all the things. And so, the opportunities were there.
In our 20s. We really
Right.
didn't. And I was watching your children grow through their 20s. The 20s is your brain's still forming. But, you're curious, you're enthusiastic, you're passionate. That's ageless.
Yes, it is ageless. You're exactly right. Yeah, I like that. That's a good description of it for sure. Ageless versus ageism. Ooh, I like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meaning, how many years we need to honor the age because I have to say, and you'll see this as you get into your 60s and older, you don't want those decades to be discounted. So a lot of people love to say, 60 is the new 40. And you're like, wait, I just lost 20 years? Those were a lot of really good years. So we really need to hone and own our age and be proud of it. That's why I'm always talking about age out loud and proud. It's one of the best ways also to dissolve ageism is the more people who aren't afraid to say their age. And I'm telling you, I have had women I've invited onto the podcast. They were not willing to share their age. And I said, well, you can't be on the podcast unless you're comfortable with that. And they often come back after 6 months and go, you know what, I'm ready to do it.
Yeah. There's no shame in it. There's no shame in it. I still think it's impolite to ask per se, but just in case someone is uncomfortable. But I will tell you one thing that we were talking about the age differences throughout the years and things like that. The expectations, have absolutely changed from when my mother was my age. There was an expectation that you wore conservative clothes and you didn't do the things and all the things that has changed. So we have come a long way since then. For sure.
Absolutely.
I think to be like 55 and if you want to shop at Forever 21, if you can find something that looks cute and fits,
are you
knock yourself out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Where that would have been like completely like taboo back 30, 40 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I interviewed Diane Gilman, and Diane was a well-known QVC, HVC host, right? Selling products all the time. And when she was 59, she wanted to find designer jeans that fit her older body, but still, had a little zhum to it, a little pizzazz, a little, I'm still hot.
Yeah.
And people laughed her out of the room. And so she said she marched herself right down to the what's it called district, the fabric district,
Garment district.
Garment, thank you, the garment district in New York City. Found people, developed her brand, had over 100 million in sales over the next 8+ years.
Yeah,
with her jeans, and they looked great, and women bought them all the time because, again, going back to Saturday Night Live, there's that skit of the mother jeans, like, they're just so unflattering.
The mom jeans, yes.
The mom jeans.
Yes, yeah.
So, yeah, we can still do all those things. It's important to just wake up and of course, what I love online and on Instagram and on TikTok are the women who have incredible fashion sense, and they're putting together outfits that are colorful and bold and going out in the middle of the day with these wild outfits on because it's a way of being fully expressed for them, right? I love it.
Yeah, yeah. I will tell you one thing. I love fashion and clothes and all the things. I'm very girly in that aspect. And I'm not going to give in to any kind of expectation of what I should wear. That will absolutely never happen. So there is that.
Congratulations. I love
that. Exactly. And then I really do want to just continue to live out loud. I'm not afraid to say what's on my mind. I think I'm funny. I'm not particularly probably, but I have some sarcasm notes to me that not always are picked up by other people.
They don't land the way you hope.
They don't land, or how I think it's, what I think I'm saying is not how it's being perceived. So sometimes it definitely happens, but I don't want to pull back on that just because I'm getting older. I really still want to be able to live and be who I am without an apology at all.
And let me tell you, that definitely happens in your 60s. Yeah. You just all of a sudden really stop caring. And also, as you get older, you're looking at your watch. You don't know how much time you have left.
Yeah.
So then you get a lot more discerning about who you spend your time with, how you spend your time, right?
Yeah.
And so it's a fascinating process. And I just love talking to the folks on my podcast. I tend to highlight folks and spotlight folks who have found a way to fuel their passion, purpose, and pocketbook, who have found a pathway to stay connected. And they can have one eye, one arm, one leg, they can have all the physical challenges in the world and still just be like, yeah, I'm excited to be here. I'm ready to get up. I've got something to say, and I want to share it in different ways. It doesn't have to be hustle. In fact, we had a great, I love watching these gals on Substack. They have a platform called Crow's Feet, and they're all pretty much 65 plus, and their writings are fabulous. And we were talking about the energy, and we're not talking about grid energy. We're talking about your energy and how it starts to, you start to have to manage your energy portfolio as you age, and when are you going to, do the hustle or put in a big day? When can you take a nap, that restorative 20-minute snooze that just brings you back to life? Or days where you just like, yeah, I'm not going to get there. Not going to happen. And you have to put your feet up. So your body, if you listen to your body, not your mind, because your mind might just have you sitting on the couch watching Netflix all day.
Oh,
but
for sure.
Well, and this is what happened in 2021. The World Health Organization came out with this study that said retirement has become an epidemic costing societies billions of dollars. And it's because a switch happens and people decide, oh, I'm old. Mm-hmm. And they start acting old, which means they stop doing things that keep their body moving, keep their brain moving, keep them interested in things. And they can easily get depressed. And all of a sudden, the ailments start coming in. Now they're on a bunch of meds and they're just really having a hard time moving. Their family's all concerned about them. It affects everyone and it becomes very expensive. And so if I can do anything to help folks, think about, wait a minute, if I've made it to 65, highly likely I'm going to make it to 85, which means what am I going to do the next 20 years? Because if I look back 20 years, I did a lot. What do I want to do in the next 20 years? And it can be a whole bunch of different things. You don't have to like pick one thing and stick with it. But also, how do you evolve? And how do you find ways to be fully expressed? It's an interesting journey.
Yeah. We did an episode a long time ago with someone that did, she coached Zumba Gold. She would do it, and you can do it online from your home, and it's still live. You can log in, and then you still do it live. And then she does do it in I think she's in South or North Carolina. I'm not sure what. She does have a studio where she's at as well. And I thought, this is fabulous. Right? Because Zumba is fun.
Zumba's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of
fun. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I just interviewed Serena Byers. I saw her on Instagram doing hula hoop at 68. Mm-hmm. And her story is fascinating, from ICU nurse to realtor to her doctor saying, look, your liver enzymes and cholesterol and everything, they're a mess, blood pressure, you got to do something. And she didn't recall ever hula hooping as a kid, but she thought it looked fun. It kept popping up every time she looked around. So she got herself a hula hoop and taught herself. Now she gives classes. She's in parades. America's Got Talent just had her audition. It's wild.
Yeah, yeah. I haven't hula hooped in forever, but I loved it. I'm going to have to go get one now.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I learned all about, how you can get custom ones made and how, you got to get the right size. And we had a great conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I used to twirl the baton, jump roping, all those things that you could still, the jump roping, I don't know about, but that might be a bit much. But all those things when you were a kid that are just repetitive and easy to do, and when you do them, you have this lightheartedness and joy that comes with it. And it's just the activity.
And I want to bring up something else for listeners who are aging or maybe have aging parents. Here's something that happens that you're never prepared for. When you turn 65, you get on Medicare, right? You can have a supplemental insurance. But your annual physical as you knew it from 64 to back down to 30 or 25 is no longer. You get a pat in the head, and that's it. So I created a document on my don'tbecagedbyyourage.com website. Just go to the blog page. It's what you need to ask your doctor after 65. And if you ask for these tests, they'll give them to you. But you don't get breast exams, you don't get put in for all, mammograms, everything. You have to ask for them. There's no longer, even if you have the best supplemental insurance, it no longer covers a traditional physical. And it took me about 3 years to figure out what was going on. And then I sent my doctor a firm letter about that was unacceptable to me. And I did the research. And then when we met a year ago, I was there with my list. I want baselines because if you don't have an eye doctor, if you have anything happen to your eye, good luck. You can't just go call an eye doctor. You have to be in the system with an ophthalmologist. And you got to get your hearing baseline. You've got to get the MoCA baseline. That's your memory. All these baseline tests your doctor will not bring up.
Mm-hmm. You always have to advocate for yourself. I learned that when my mom had cancer. Ooh. She wouldn't advocate for herself. So it would make me angry and I'd go and advocate for her, which would make her, she'd be like, Darlene, don't, no, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's not. It's really not okay. It's really not.
That's indoctrination of women of her age group.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quiet. Don't.
Yeah. Well, she didn't want to upset her doctor or make him think she was questioning him. And I was just like going, no, we're going to ask these questions.
Hey, if someone used the wrong color on your hair or didn't cut your hair right, you'd be going, Hello.
Yeah.
Same thing. You're
Yeah.
hiring a doctor. They have an expertise.
Yeah, you have to advocate for yourself,
Oh,
no
I'm
matter
so
no
glad you
matter
did
your
that for
age.
her. Is she okay?
No, she passed away from ovarian cancer in
I'm
2018. So
Oh,
yeah,
what a loss. I'm sorry.
I know. She battled for 8 years, but talking about ageism, she never stopped going she was always like that. She was a go-go, never sat around or anything like that. There was no bonbon and stories happening, what they used to call back in the day. But she kept going and going and going all the way up until really honestly before she passed away. She was at the zoo with grandkids a few months before she passed because she was not going to let the cancer define her or slow her down. Clearly she had days, clearly she had months from different, surgeries or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, she wasn't going to do it. She was going to go down,
For her. She was
go
gonna
down
carpe
kicking and
diem.
fighting. Yeah.
Live life.
Yeah. Yeah. So I really learned from that myself to kind of watch her do that. And it's just brought me, I'm so proud of her for being able to do that and having those experiences with, my kids were older, but my sister had littles. So just being a part of their lives where they can have those little tidbits of memory, and they were fun. They weren't, Mimi like in bed, it was Mimi at the zoo and Mimi doing all the different things with them. So
That's great.
yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry, though, for Mom. Way too young.
Yes. Both my parents died 72 and 69. So
Wow.
I know. I never
that's
thought
why
that.
I say every day I see myself in the mirror, I go,
Yeah.
this is a good day.
Yeah. And,
Day to be alive.
as their daughter, I always thought I'd have my parents, and you just realize you don't.
Nope.
You don't.
That's a tough one. Boy,
Yeah.
when that happens, it's like, wait, I'm an orphan now?
Mm-hmm. Even as an adult, it felt very strange.
Well, your backup wasn't there.
Yeah.
Anymore.
The unconditional love that for 100%. At least for me, my parents were unconditional love
I'm so happy for you.
for no matter what. But so
What a treasure. Good parents.
Yeah,
I love
good
that.
parents. I definitely had some great parents. So as we kind of like button up the podcast, is there anything we didn't talk about that you think that, would be beneficial to those out there that are getting ready to fight ageism, that are fighting ageism, and that just really want to feel positive about themselves and just need a little pick-me-up?
I'm going to say two things. One of the benefits of my podcast, Don't Be Caged by Your Age, that I didn't even think about are those folks in their 40s and 50s who are not only excited about the fact that they can fight ageism and start thinking, but they were thrilled to know they have all this time ahead of them. Mm-hmm. That just because the clock strikes midnight on a milestone age doesn't mean they're supposed to stop.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the dreams that they have percolating, but they can't get to them. They've got kids, they've got this, they've got that. All of a sudden, they're like, okay, I can get to that. I'm going to have time.
Yeah.
No problem. God willing, of course. But it was a freedom for them. And then for other folks who are in their 60s and they're creeping into, thinking about their 70s and 80s and their 90s, please think about how it's okay to be a beginner again, to learn new skills, do some workbooks, whether, I've got behind me here, Don't Retire, Rewire, great questions in there to help percolate ideas. And if you're sitting there going, I don't know, I don't have any passion, I haven't got any purpose, but I need something to help my pocketbook out, you can go through these processes that help pull out things that could be of interest to you. Just be okay that you can learn new things. And boy, if you can, strength training, whatever that looks like, is so important for your balance, for staying strong, for mental capacity, everything. Lift those weights in any way that you can to keep the muscles and the bones strong so that you have good balance and coordination during these years.
Yes. I absolutely appreciate that, especially the coordination part. So
I was never coordinated, so
I was never coordinated, so I got to work extra. So
And I'm a little more conscious.
For sure.
Conscious about it.
I know. That's why yoga was never my thing. I was like flopping around on the ground. I could never hold those poses. So yeah.
I can never get into them. So I was like, yeah, no, this isn't for me.
No, not for me. Couldn't get out of it fast enough. So, but anyway, well, thank you so much. And I'm encouraging our listeners to take a listen to your podcast, Don't Be Caged by Your Age, which is fabulous. We'll put the link in the description as well. So check it out there. And
Thank you.
That's available anywhere, right? Spotify, Apple?
Anywhere.
Anywhere.
YouTube, Apple, Spotify. There's a video for that.
There's a video for that. Perfect. Well, thank you so much again. And if you enjoyed this episode of the SeniorLivingGuide.com podcast, we can be found as well on any of the apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Good Pods, and really anything, Podchaser. And please check us out. Over 100 episodes. Like, subscribe, follow, download. Thanks for listening.